The good news is there are some things we can do to keep costs down, and here to tell us what they are is Nicky Kelvin, head of the Points Guy UK. Good morning to you, Nicky.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you really take a holiday in these times? How much does the pound get you in North Korea?
I've actually been to North Korea, although that was a long time ago, and but that's a story for another day. There are still ways to get a cheap holiday. Times are getting tougher and tougher. As you just said, this Which survey is showing that flight prices are ever increasing. I think 42% up on the same time the last year. I think that's what the stat was. And October half-term is looking particularly bad because people, again, are still wanting to get away. It was a difficult summer. Passenger caps meant flights were cancelled, prices were driven up, demand is still high, and supply is still low, with airlines and airports struggling still to really staff up properly. But amongst all this gloom, there are some good things. There are some good options. And I've been working hard looking at ways to find cheap flights, and there are deals to be had even in October half-term.
OK, so tell us what deals you've unearthed and how people can find them. OK,
so my top tip is to use a service like Google Flights. I think that the key in these times is to be able to be flexible with your departure point as much as you can, as flexible with your destination as you can. People who are restricted to October half-term obviously have to work within those dates, but what I found was if you're trying to search from the Saturday to Saturday or Saturday to Sunday, that's where you're going to struggle. Prices are much higher than usual. But if you look at a trip from Sunday to Friday or Sunday to Saturday or Monday to Saturday, I was finding prices to places like Barcelona, destination Turkey, Lisbon, Madrid for about £100 return in that period, which is really good because you're seeing flights to places like Tenerife for £300-400, which is quite eye-watering. You also need to look at these destinations and see how far your pound goes, because obviously with the weakening currency is causing its own issues.
Yeah, well, that was where I was going to go. So if you're lucky enough to have found a good deal on a flight and you're able to tally it up with half-term and everything else, where are the destinations where the pound is going to get you the most for your bang for your pound?
Yeah. Not America.
Yeah, OK, not the States.
No. The euro at the moment, you get 1.11 this morning, 1.11 to the pound.
Yeah.
In euro.
So really what we're looking for now is destinations where it's actually cheap on the ground. So you can't rely on currency anymore to help you. So the destinations we've identified that are still cheap when you're spending your pounds is Turkey, Bulgaria. These are places where there's still pretty decent weather at this time of year. Portugal's another one. And so those kind of destinations, Bulgaria and Turkey are the ones that were highlighted the most, where you could probably still grab some good weather even in October or on the beaches there. And that's where, you're going out for a meal for two, bottle of wine around the £20 to £25 mark, comparing that to somewhere that is very expensive, for example, Iceland, where the same sort of basket of things in a restaurant would cost you over £100. So you're paying a fifth of the price to go to those cheaper places still, even with today's exchange rates.
What advice would you give to a family who perhaps say they're living in somewhere like Kent, they can see a good deal from Bristol Airport or from Birmingham Airport? When you factor in the cost of fuel, is it still a saving to travel a long way to an airport, or are you better off just going to your nearest one with the cost of fuel at the moment?
It's not just the cost of fuel, it's also the cost of public transport, because you could decide to hop on a train, but, that can be
cab or bus, whatever. Yeah.
Eye-wateringly expensive, all of these things. So you're really going to have to weigh these things up. Look at the airports around you, see what the price difference is between those airports and heading to somewhere else, like, going from Birmingham to Bristol or whatever it is. In every situation, it's going to be different, but you do need to be open, flexible if you're really trying to get a good deal.